Hello everyone, and welcome to the My Greek Island podcast, Bitesize Greek series edition with your teachers, George Tsounyas
and Maria Petrakou. Γεια σου, Yorgo.
Γεια σου, Maria.
What are we learning today then, Yorgo?
I might actually keep that little joke every week, I don't know. In today's mini episode, we are turning our attention to some vocabulary to do with transport whilst you're in Greece, because you all now must be thinking or dreaming about your Greek holiday. And our specific role play today will be securing a ticket or a return ticket by ferry, because we are the My Greek Island podcast after all.
Very useful information indeed, as you might be rocking up to a port and wanting to take a boat, maybe for a day trip, or to start your island hopping. Right, George?
Exactly. However, don't forget, if you are traveling in high season, so July, August time, make sure you are checking online or even book, as it can get very, very busy on some routes.
Very true. It gets very busy. So, without further ado, let's get in to today's episode. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the My Greek Island podcast, dedicated to take you, the wanderlust, on a journey through Greece.
There are 227 inhabited Greek islands. Which one will you visit next?
My Greek Island, with your hosts George and Maria.
Learning a new language can be very daunting, take courage, and lots of time. It can also be extremely demotivating when you don't make any progress. This series is all about providing you with the instant language to use, get a reaction, and hopefully learn a thing or two that will stick. And who knows, you might even be inspired to start learning Greek properly.
And when you go on holiday, you just need those few words, phrases, and maybe a bit of slang, and you're ready to go and happy, right?
It's now summertime, favorite time of the year for me anyway, and you're in Greece, and there are lots of different means of transport that you're going to potentially take, and you want to flex some words or phrases that we have taught you.
But first things first, let's state the words for I don't understand and please. So I don't understand is δεν καταλαβαίνω. Δεν καταλαβαίνω. And please, παρακαλώ. Παρακαλώ.
And one then you cannot miss is have a safe trip, which is καλό ταξίδι. Καλό ταξίδι. Now, there are various means of transport that you could choose to take. A means of transport in Greek is μέσα μεταφοράς. So we're talking about ferry, taking the ferry. So the word for ferry is ferry, or you could also have καράβι. Καράβι. You might also take a taxi. I think we can guess what that is. Taxi. We also have a bus, which is λεωφορείο. Λεωφορείο. And then you might be brave in the middle of summer to hire a bike. They do actually have e-bikes now in some places on the islands, which is really good for those hills. But a bike is ποδήλατο. Ποδήλατο.
And then adding a few more. A car. Αυτοκίνητο. Αυτοκίνητο. The metro. 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 And the train. Τρένο. Τρένο.
As we mentioned in the intro, we are focusing on boats today. And the purpose of this episode is that you're pretending you have not booked your tickets in advance and you are a foot passenger. And even if you have booked your tickets in advance, just go along with the ride for us.
Yeah, and perhaps you might be taking a day trip from one island to another to maybe do some exploring.
Exactly. So you might remember we have already covered the words how to say I would like, which is θα ήθελα. Now we're going to be looking at tickets. So the word for ticket is εισιτήριο for one, or if it's plural, εισιτήρια. So εισιτήριο and εισιτήρια. And you can either go one way, which is απλό εισιτήριο, απλό εισιτήριο, or you could have a return ticket, which is probably good to have if you're doing a day trip so you don't get stranded. εισιτήριο μετεπιστροφής. εισιτήριο μετεπιστροφής. And for your destination, you could simply add the word για, which almost means for, and your destination. So in a sentence, it could be θα ήθελα ένα εισιτήριο για Μύκονο. For example, I would like a ticket to Mykonos.
And let's say we're in Athens and you're taking a day trip, for example, to the island of Aegina, not yet to be covered, but a great destination for a perfect day trip from Athens. Or if not Aegina, Angistri, which we do have an episode on. So go and check it out if that would be of interest to you to do a day trip or maybe even stay. But if you are doing a day trip, you could say Kalimera, θα ήθελα ένα εισιτήριο μετεπιστροφής για Αίγινα, παρακαλώ. Or Kalimera, θα ήθελα ένα εισιτήριο μετεπιστροφής για Αγκίστρι, παρακαλώ.
And whilst asking this, you might also want to ask the times, although that could get very, very complicated as we've not covered times, but you could ask for the timetable for Aegina. So that would be το πρόγραμμα δρομολογίων για Αίγινα, παρακαλώ. Το πρόγραμμα δρομολογίων για Αίγινα, παρακαλώ. And this way, they're more likely to show you or give you the timetable rather than tell you the time of the next boat, which could get quite confusing.
It's a bit of a hack there, George, isn't it?
Indeed.
But then what happens when you're going to ask for the price?
So when you're going to ask for the price, there's usually two types of things you have. You either have the money out ready and you've got it all ready to pay, or you're just going to have the money there, or you're going to strategically look at the monitor. It is a real fine art if you do ask the question, and we are going to give you the question. But if you don't know, or you might say, as we said at the start, I don't understand, which is then καταλαβαίνω. Then καταλαβαίνω.
So the question to ask how much the tickets will be is πόσο κάνει? Πόσο κάνει?
And finally, if you find yourself in a big port, such as Piraeus, and you might want to know which gate at the port you need to go to, and if you are in Piraeus, it's very, very big, so do leave yourself enough time if you're going by public transport. You might want to ask someone, where is the gate? Now, this can also be used at the airport as well. And the phrase for this would be πού είναι η πύλη? So where is the gate? And let's say you're going to Angistri. Πού είναι η πύλη για Angistri? Παρακαλώ. Πού είναι η πύλη για Angistri? Παρακαλώ. And then wait for the answer.
Yeah. Now, I think we should settle with some gestures here rather than, giving the directions of left, right, straight ahead. What do you think?
Well, yeah, I think, true. We're going to cover directions, but Greeks also speak with their hands a lot and use a lot of gestures. So I'm pretty sure you will understand from their hand gestures where you need to go.
Exactly. And I mean, most people will or should wish you a safe trip, right? Which you mentioned it at the beginning. We'll say it again, is καλό ταξίδι. So that's καλό ταξίδι. Now, as our bite-sized listening crew is becoming accustomed to, we do like to role play what we learnt at the end of each episode so you can listen to a bit of a whole conversation for yourself. Now, those listening to previous episodes might already be familiar with some of the language.
Exactly. So let's go through it from the start, as if you are in Athens, in Piraeus, about to take that little day trip to the nearby island, and feeling like, as I said, you want to flex your Greek phrases that we've been teaching you and you've been learning whilst listening to our podcast. So are you ready, Maria?
Ready. Γεια σας, καλημέρα, which means hello, good morning.
Καλημέρα. Το πρόγραμμα δρομολογίων για Αίγινα, παρακαλώ. Good morning. The timetable for Aegina, please.
Ορίστε. There you go.
Ευχαριστώ. Θα ήθελα ένα εισιτήριο μετεπιστροφής για Αίγινα, παρακαλώ. Thank you. I would like one return ticket for Aegina, please.
Βεβαίως. Of course.
Πόσο κάνει? How much is it?
Το σύνολο είναι 35,95. The total is 35.95.
Συγγνώμη, δεν καταλαβαίνω. Sorry, I don't understand.
And somewhere here I will show you the screen.
Ευχαριστώ. Πού είναι η πύλη για Αίγινα? Where is the gate for Aegina?
Εκεί. Καλό ταξίδι. There. Have a good trip. So should we go one more time without explaining the English, just the Greek? Γεια σας. Καλημέρα.
Καλημέρα. Το πρόγραμμα δρομολογίων για Αίγινα, παρακαλώ.
Ορίστε.
Ευχαριστώ. Θα ήθελα ένα εισιτήριο μετεπιστροφής για Αίγινα, παρακαλώ.
Βεβαίως.
Πόσο κάνει?
Το σύνολο είναι 35,95.
Συγγνώμη, δεν καταλαβαίνω. Ευχαριστώ. Πού είναι η πύλη για Αίγινα?
Εκεί. Καλό ταξίδι. Right, my Greek Islanders, this comes to the end of this bite-sized Learning Greek episode. But before we go, what's on next week's lesson, Yorgo?
Stay tuned as Bitesize Greek episode 7, if I'm not mistaken, we'll be building on what we've been looking at on transport, but we're focusing on the metro, which is also very, very important for your travel to Athens. And we also might find out what other city in Greece does have a metro. So until the next episode, make sure to follow us at My Greek Island and to send us your bite-sized Greek learning requests.
Γεια σας.
Right, my Greek Islanders, this comes to the end of another episode of this podcast.
Now you know the drill. If you like this episode, share it to share the love with the My Greek Island community, where everyone is welcome. And
don't forget to follow, like, subscribe, and all that jazz. And maybe give us a little rating from wherever you're listening to us from, so you are notified every time a new episode drops. And if you have any suggestions or requests, get in touch.
And for those of you visiting Greece, don't forget to tag at My Greek Island on Instagram for a future feature. Until then, see you later, or as they say in Greek,
Ta leme.